I have two amazing guests in our midst, one from Australia, one from Nigeria here. I've got Godwin Vaz, who is a transformational leader, and also Justin E. Adeluyi, who is an economic and policy making expert. You're very much welcome to the business, Adeluyi. What's your take about the Nigerian youth? It looks like Nigerians are literally at the fate of the government. But sometimes you need to just hold the bull by its horn and fix your own life, irrespective of what is happening to the government. Absolutely. And what is happening to the country is a reflection of what is happening to the people. That's true. You get, the country is not just the buildings. The country are the people in the country. And so it's from the people that you get the leaders. And so what is your take about Nigerians, especially the youth? The way forward, the youth, many of them bedeviled with drug abuse, bedeviled with so many ills and vices. What is your take?
All right, so a typical Nigerian, predominantly the youth, are based on and are traumatized by the state of affairs right now in the country. They're frustrated, they're angry, and as a result of that, they have gone into the twin triads of drug addiction, betting addiction, gambling addiction, and all of these quick scheme, get money rich activities, you know. Right. So, and as a result of this, there's no more integrity in the country. They want to go through any shortcut to get through to the apex, you know, get some access to money and all of that, you know. So that's not the way to go. But because of how bad the economy has become, because of how crippled the economy has become, because of how much the leaders have oppressed the typical Nigerian youth, you know, they have just decided to take the short way around things, and then the predominant majority of the youths have gone into so much negativity, and that has spiraled down all the way across the country.
Godwin Vaz, what will you put first? It's more or less like a chicken and egg situation. People are blaming the leaders. Some part of the divide are blaming the masses. And how would you fix such economy? You're seeing people blaming the leaders. Some people are blaming the masses. People are blaming the masses. I remember one of our previous presidents actually called the Nigerian youth lazy youth and saying that Nigerians are not doing enough to be able to churn in more revenue into the Nigerian economy. What is your take about that? It's more or less like a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah. So in my experience, it's looking at both. Okay, so you have to look at the mindset. So we will be conducting widespread programs on youth leadership, youth empowerment, meaning that every person, youth and any age, has self-leadership of your life, how you manage your mind, your emotions, your money, your behaviors, is all really up to us. We have the choice for that. And at the same time, it's changing the mindset and the culture of leadership in business and in government. So we're going to Abuja for some high-level meetings about that. Because to me, you said something really important, that what makes a country isn't the buildings or the trees, it's the people. But what makes the people is the culture at the top and the empowerment of all the people, right? So it's very much both. So we're trying to tackle community groups, religious groups. Youth leadership is a big part of our mission. And then leadership of large organizations as well as government departments. I think you need to do both. Because if you just do one, there will be like a disparity in the growth level.
That's right.
Right? If you just empower the masses, you might get more control from the higher ups because people are getting more vocal and more empowered. But if both rise equally, then it tends to work.
The transformational leadership and looking at the state of Africa and looking at the state of Nigeria, the average age of a Nigerian or of an average African is 19. And that's a very, very important stage in anyone's life, the age of 19. And because of that, we're supposed to be the global superpower. We're supposed to have this, because we're supposed to be the giant of Africa because we have the youngest population in the world. And with that, it's not really happening. If Nigeria were to be your client, and you're a consultant, if Nigeria were to be your client, what solution would you prefer to the country?
For the youth?
Yeah, for the youth.
I think, okay, that's a great question. So I think it starts with three things. I think the youth need mindset development to change from short term to thinking longer term. Because if you just think short term, you're going to get negative consequences, addiction, violence, all of that. If you can think a little bit bigger picture, so there's a whole bunch of things we change from negative mindset to positive, problem focused to solution focused, hopelessness to choice. So there's all these levers of mindset change that just, what does it give to the youth? Hope, rather than reactive behavior, okay? So more constructive behavior. The second thing is the youth need mentors and role models, okay? Which is why finding people in Nigerian society that have better mindsets, that have achieved some kind of success. And the third thing I think is innovation, that the youth need to believe that they can be entrepreneurs. They don't have to wait for the government to change. Now, there's so many tools available now, like information is widely available. I don't know how difficult it is to open a business in Nigeria. You'll have to inform me of that.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Right,
super easy right.
Yeah. So then it's training in the entrepreneurial mindset, you know, like calculated risk-taking, resilience, product market fit. Have I got the right product, the right market, the right time? So all the entrepreneurial skills. I would say if you're a young person, learn about innovation and learn about marketing and entrepreneurship. Those three really will be super empowering. And I think as a young person, you have access to if you have access to the internet and it's easy to open a business, you can start adding value to the Nigerian economy. But it starts, I think the starting point is your mindset. So you need to be around people that have a constructive, forward-moving mindset. Sometimes the people that we're with can bring us down, create hopelessness. So I would say to the youth, feed your mind with better information and more hope. That can be people, that can be resources, it can be, I don't think the young people are into books anymore. Maybe it's a bit boring.
A few of us.
Yeah, a few. So it can be YouTube clips around entrepreneurship, innovation. Personal development is really key. Meaning, am I growing as a person? What am I listening to? You know, there's a great saying that who we all are in 5 years' time will be the content we've consumed and the people we've met.
Absolutely.
So if you're a young person listening to this, choose your crowd very carefully. You will become their mindset. If you don't have a great crowd, I didn't when I started, you need to go to audio, video, and just immerse yourself every morning with just positive thoughts around entrepreneurship, innovation, leadership, risk-taking, resilience is a big thing as well.
Adelusi, I would love us to really talk about the skills gap. If you notice, right now it's very difficult for you to get a plumber, you want to get a mechanic to fix your car, it's very difficult. You want to get, whatever apprenticeship you want to get right now is becoming scarce by the day. And one of the major reasons for that is that you're seeing a lot of younger Nigerians who are not interested in going into those professions. Some even already have the skill, but they're not interested in practicing. Because they've seen the result of those who have done that. And it looks like that result is not really appealing to them. So you see a plumber by the street and he spends 20 years of his life doing plumbing, but nothing to show for it. And so people are not interested in going into that profession. So with that skills gap comes a lot of vacuum. And that vacuum needs to be filled in any economy. And it looks like the Nigerian economy is not filling it. With the present, with the vast majority of youth we have right now, no one is interested in going into those professions. What is your take regarding that, the skills gap?
Okay, so the Nigerian government, the Nigerian population have made some of these hand skills extremely unattractive. You know, simply because they've made it look like if you're a mechanic, you're a dirty person. If you're a plumber, you're low level, you know, and then you see some of these fast scheme guys like the fraudsters, the Yahoo people, you know, from the very young age, driving very flashy cars, sort of in quotes, living the life, you know, and then people who would have worked so hard with their hands, you know, built a legacy for themselves that could probably stand the test of time, look like they're the ones below the poverty line. It's become very unattractive. And as a result of that, we see lots of people who would have been so skilled, who would have added more value to the economy, who would have added more value to themselves and their families and their communities, you know, delving away from learning proper skills and then delving into the negative side of things, illicit dealings and all of that, you know, so it's quite unfortunate for our country right now.
What do you think is the way forward?
Okay, so the way forward basically first and foremost would be education and awareness. Secondly, we could do a lot more skill empowerment we could, not just to teach the skill. You know, it's one thing to teach a skill and leave you hanging. You know, you don't just teach the skill, you also empower them. So one of the things Godwin is here in Nigeria to do is not just to transform your mind, we're also going to empower you with, you know, some resources to get you started. Because at the end of the day, when you have the skill to start, you don't have the resources to follow up, it's almost as if you're crippled. You know, so if you can get them to learn the skill and then of course empower them with the necessary resources that they need, you know, to achieve whatever it is they need to achieve in such skill empowerment programs, it will be a win-win for everybody.
I was telling a friend of mine that very soon those gaps that are being created in the economy would be a high ticket price that Nigerians are going to be paying for.
Very
because
true.
once scarcity comes into the picture, demand still remains
higher.
the same,
Yeah.
and demand increases by the days,
Absolutely.
and the people, the professionals are becoming scarce by the day. What happens to the price? The price will definitely
goes up,
skyrocket.
yeah.
Economics 101. Gordon Vass, what's it? I love using bespoke principles that have worked and other countries have adopted to be able to transform their economy. I love adopting it, but maybe make it a little bit bespoke to our own realities. What principle do you think we can adopt from other climes? Let's say Australia, where you're from, to transform the economy.
Let's even look at other countries that are closer to Nigeria, more developing countries.
Okay.
Right? So I think just on what Justin's saying, first of all, I think the skill gap is one thing, but then teaching young people marketing skills, branding skills, right? So I think the supply and demand will come into it, but also how do they let people know that this is a scarce skill? That's a marketing issue, okay? So yeah, coming back to the question of principles, I want to talk about what we have done in various countries with leaders of business and government, which is we've looked at intelligences, okay? So you've heard of IQ. People have often heard of EQ, emotional intelligence. That's right. Okay, so if you want to change and lead anything, and in this case we're talking about a successful business and a country, economy, you need the EQ, which is being able to regulate your emotions so you're not being reactive. You're not coming from fear, you're coming from courage. The third intelligence that's often missing that we say is a key principle is relationship intelligence, okay? So relationship intelligence means what is my ability to create rapport, safety, and trust with other stakeholders so that they join in consultation, they join in business, they join in a new policy, whatever it is the change you're trying to make, whether it's a business or for countrywide. So that's the third one. The next intelligence that's very, very rare is cultural intelligence. And so you're saying you want some principles. It's knowing that some things will work in Nigeria and some things won't.
That's right.
Right? So it's very much also keeping the best of Nigerian traditions while Nigeria is modernizing. So this has been a challenge in India, which I think a lot of people would say India in some ways lost its soul, it's regaining it. It lost its essence, right? So every country has an essence of what makes a Nigerian Nigerian.
Very true.
You want to keep that, but modernize with economics and how you add value and empowerment. Okay? And I think the last thing is energy intelligence, I'm going to call it. So it's things like purpose, being super clear on what is the purpose of my government department, my business, my life. What's my life purpose? If you don't have an idea of your purpose, you're going to be lost. And you're going to just chase everything, which I think the youth need to find what's your purpose, like what's your gifts, what's your purpose. And energy management is also how do I raise the energy of every meeting that I'm in? How do I bring hope, not despair? Okay, how do I bring courage, not hopelessness? How do I bring resilience, not giving up? So I think if I give you principles, it's to raise the various intelligences that can help a country really transform and change. But in order for a country to change, the leadership mindset and emotional awareness and skills have to change. Otherwise, the same decisions will be made. I would say for the youth as well, you need to develop all of these intelligences because you'll add more value and people will take you more seriously.
Okay, Adelusi, you're into policy making and governance in some way, but what is your take about this current administration? One, as regards policies, as regards the economic framework that the government has put in place. Remember what happened? The fuel subsidy was removed at first, and we saw that a lot of Nigerians, even the protest, the End Bad Governance protest, it was not because of maybe they wanted a minister out or maybe one other thing. They literally wanted more food in their pots.
Right.
It was just
at a
the
lower
reason
cost
for hunger. They're all coming out to protest about hunger. What is your take about policies? Are we getting the right policies? What's your advice? If you were to be a special advisor to the president, what would you advise the president at this point in time?
Thank you. That's a great question.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel funny about what I'm about to say,
Why
because
not?
what I'm about to say will shock you and shock the Nigerian youth. All right. So, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't come to meet a Nigeria that was working. He came to meet a Nigeria that had been taken backwards by the previous administration. And unfortunately, if a young man has fallen into a pit, a gutter, you don't expect him to just come out clean. All right. So the same thing goes for our country, Nigeria. You don't expect the government, the president, to just come today and then pull us out of the chaos that we're in. It's going to take a few steps. And before he came in, he said specifically that we've got to brace hard for a hard impact. All right, we're going to go a few steps back and then propel forward. A bullet, before it leaves the trigger, is got to go back and then propel forward. So what I would advise Nigerians is to keep calm. I believe unequivocally and without an iota of doubt that despite the state of affairs, despite the insecurities, despite the magnanimity of the impudent calamities that are ravaging the lands right now, despite the fact that the dollar keeps increasing, reducing, and all of these things, I have a strong belief that is rooted to the depth of my heart that our home country, the true giant of Africa, Nigeria, shall be great again. So in terms of what's happening right now, the state of affairs right now, it's not funny, all right? It's not the best. But I need us to keep calm as a country, trust the president, trust the process, and just keep praying for the country, keep believing, keep being positive rather than complain about what's going on, rather than get so angry and agitated about what's going on. Keep calm, breathe in, breathe properly, and just wait for a few more months, few more years, and would achieve greatness as a nation.
Nigerians have literally been waiting for 60 years.
As a matter of fact, speaking about the protests, many people spoke to me and said, "Oh, youth leader, why didn't you join the protest?" One reason why I didn't join the protest is predominantly because our protests do not have a direction. A typical Nigerian would take advantage of the protests to destroy public property. A typical Nigerian would take advantage of the protests to go and steal. I don't see how destroying public property is supposed to make Nigeria better. I don't see how stealing a 65-inch TV that cannot be put in your 2-bedroom apartment is going to make Nigeria better. I don't see what use a traffic light that should help the city traffic is doing in your bedroom, and how that's supposed to help Nigeria. So basically, if you look at other countries, what the protest is supposed to be is peaceful. Let everybody come out in mass.
But we have the UK protesting right now, and it's not peaceful because we're seeing what is happening in the UK.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's a different kettle of fish. Godwin Vaz, we've been talking about foreign direct investment in this country. Our Nigerian entrepreneurs are not really getting access to foreign exchange. Investors are not really coming into the country as much as it used to in the last 2-3 years. But in the last 2-3 years, we used to be the cash cow of the African continent. This used to be the hotbed of investment, especially the tech ecosystem. And if you're an investor, would you be attracted to come into the Nigerian economy? Because you are here right now, and what will you be looking out for as an investor?
Yeah, as an investor, it's a very insecure time, for myself included, in the Nigerian economy. I would be looking for what Justin's talking about, some sense of stability and calm, right? Not only in the streets, but within the relationship of the government within each other, because it's too fractured, it's too uncertain at the moment to invest greatly. So I understand why investment has gone down. So stabilizing things is key.
So as an investor, you only look forward to stability.
More stability, predictability.
Before deploying your monies into any economy.
Correct.
Amazing conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from Godwin Vaz, who is a transformational leadership expert, and also you've heard from Justin E. Adelusi Adeluyi, who is an economic and policy making expert. I want to say a very big thank you for coming to the Business Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from both men about how we can perhaps redirect our personal economy, our personal life from regarding purpose, making sure, okay, we get the right purpose of why we are here on earth and also deploy that into our own economy. That is the way forward. The reason why Nigeria is necessarily not because of the buildings, not because of Aso Rock or the streets, but because of Nigerians. And how can we change Nigeria? By changing Nigerians, and that is the way forward. It's been a great time having these conversations with you all through this 50 minutes talking about the economy, business, and finance. My name is Frank Fagbo, and you can catch me across all social media platforms at Fagbo Frank, where we continue the conversation on your money, your business, and the economy. This is the Business Hour. Don't go anywhere because the sports show continues. Kizzy K has got you covered. You know how we do it here. The voice of the people. Until tomorrow. Same time, same station. Cheers.